बोलो वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. So friends, this morning on behalf of members of the family, we would like to say Swagatam and thank you all very much for being with us here this morning. This morning could very well be a difficult morning for every one of us gathered here. I know usually I am accustomed with coming here to do a satsang or a birthday something or a puja, or never in my wildest dreams I would have thought that this morning I would be here to conduct a funeral service for police. So I know that it's difficult for most of us. But as we said earlier, having a conversation with his son, he said to me, and with this, with a very brave heart, he said that, on it this morning, we get to celebrate the life of my father. And I'm going to do this with joy. Because we all know going to somebody, any way you see him, everybody around him always laughing. Ramlila, a big simple tassa playing, and I was like, what really going on there? Going like in the middle of everything kind of dance. He always had that about him. Somebody posted a video on Facebook this morning, and it was Rishi, or somebody, and it was where we at the Ramlila ground, it was his birthday. We had a cake, and we were singing, and playing music, and he was dancing, and cutting the cake, and those are the memories that we would want to keep with us. However, I must say that everybody in St. John Church who know Louise will know that, particularly those who are involved in religious activities, in Ramlila, in Chautada singing, in Jalramai singing, and whatever it is, once it's religiously, once it's religious, you know that God was always involved. And I have to say that, we have lost a pillar of dharma in our village. When I say a pillar, if you look at the house and you have posts holding up the house, when one of them is missing, it's something that's very difficult. The house is very unstable. And in our village, I know religiously it's going to be a great loss for us because he was always involved in, I should say, everything. And whatever you ask him for, he's always there to lend a hand, particularly those things that are religiously inclined. So today we are all here to pay our respects and indeed be mindful of this all the time, to pray and ask God that his soul will have a smooth transition from this realm to the realm hereafter. And I think that one of the main reasons we are here this morning is for that, to ensure that we, say if we pray together as a group, as a family, then the prayer will indeed have more substance, more value, more shakti, more energy. So we pray together as a family. So let's all stand. And we put our hands together, close our eyes. I urge you to bring to mind that form of Lord Krishna. And while the body is now separated from the soul is lingering around us here presently as we speak. So I ask everyone to say a prayer in your own words, asking God to show his choices and most divine blessings on you. So while I chant this mantra, you pray in your own words and ask God for his many blessings. Om Sarve Kutumbha Shukaturanam Rudhodayam Mrityu Viyoghakarani Bhaktam Hitam Tapaharantu Devaha Pretasya Moksham Kurvantu Shikhram. हे दयालु परमात्मा, हम सब जो इस मृतात्मा का कुटुंब है, हम शोक से व्याकुल हो रहे हैं। हे देव, आप भक्तों के ताप को हरण करने वाले हैं। आप इस आत्मा को शीघ्र मुक्ति दीजिए भगवान। Merciful Father, as we stand congregated here this morning as a family, Lord, we acknowledge that great loss has been sustained by the death of this dear person. But Prabhu, the family offers prayer to you with love and devotion in our hearts. Thou art always ready to remove the pain of thy devotees, Lord, and so we beg that you grant salvation to the departed soul. Om Vinavatsagoscha Ashtena Sarena Karoti Jalahina Nishaiva Viyogya Dukham Rudanti Vastrahi Sarve Kurvanti Pretasya Moksham Kurvantu Shikhram. हे दयालु प्रभु, जैसे गाय के बिना मत्स्य अक्षर स्वर्ग होते हैं और जैसे पानी बिना मछली गर्भवत है, इसी प्रकार आज हम भी इस मृतात्मा के लिए बहुत दुखित हैं। हे प्रभु, आप कृपा करके इस मृतात्मा को शीघ्र शांति दीजिए। Lord, as the calf cries when it becomes separated from the cow, as the fish suffers when it is deprived of water, so to Prabhu, the family and friends, we are offering prayer to you with grief and love in our hearts at the same time, Lord, that you grant salvation to the departed soul. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bolo Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. You can all take your seats. The word sanskara is a very prominent word in Sanatana Dharma and in fact in Hinduism. Every Hindu should endure 16 sanskaras throughout the period of his life, beginning from birth at the point of conception, straight down until the point of death. 16 sanskaras. The sanskaras that we are very much familiar with are the feeding of grains for the first time, the naming ceremony, the cutting of the hair, the piercing of the hair, beginning education, etc. There are 16 sanskars. And this sanskar that we are about to embark upon today is called Anteshti Sanskar. Anteshti Sanskar is the final rites for those loved ones and those departed souls of our family. And so the family members will begin Anteshti Sanskar today. Anteshti Sanskar is something that is very serious. It is something that takes the period of 1 year to be completed. And so that Sanskar begins today with the cremation ceremony. Members of the family will have prepared themselves to begin the Sanskar today by having a bath, by putting on clean clothes, and prepping themselves in body and mind to do the needful. To be brave and to be strong and to do what the occasion demands of them today at this point. In fact, in Ramayana, when Maharaj Dashrath died and Bharat entered Ayodhya, Bharat was in a state of grief. And although he was in a state of grief, Guru Vashish stepped in and he said to Bharat at that point, son, Dheeraj Dharo, which means to have courage and to do what the occasion demands of you. And Bharat did that. In fact, whatever Guru Vashish asked, Bharat did it 100 times greater. So much so that Goswami Tulsidas Ji declared that the pyre which the body of Maharaj Dashrath was going to be placed upon, it looked like a ladder that extended into the heavenly realm, which gave Dashrath a passage from the earthly realm straight up into the heavenly realm. So, as we prepare to begin our ceremony this morning, let me say to the main person, the main Shota, the son, that your duty today is just as Bharat. To do the things that you have to do and to do the needful and do them now, as we prep ourselves to begin and teach the sanskar, as one would say. I know that you all would have had a bath, a change of clothes, and purified yourselves, etc., to begin our ceremony. But our ceremony begins today from the point of washing hands. So we'll now pour water upon your hands and you wash them. Om Apavitraha Pavitro Va Sarvasthanga Piva Yahasmrit Pundarekaksham Savaha Bhayantara Suchi. Usually when we go to a funeral service, we see so many different things. I'm going to simplify our service this morning, and if you really listen to me, you will really understand a funeral service. You will really understand it. So firstly, water is poured on the hand, and obviously later you bathe so your hand clean, right? But water is sprinkled on it. Why? Because while that water is being sprinkled on your hand, I am chanting Om Apa Vitraha Pavitrova. Mantras are very important, they are very powerful. And the mantra is saying Om Apavitra Pavitrova. So we say, Lord, may you move me from apavitra. May you move me from a state of impurity. And may you bring me to what? Pavitra, to a state of purity. May my hands be pure enough. How? Yahasmrit in Sanskrit means bringing to mind Pundarikaksha. What is Pundarikaksha? A special form of Bhagavan Vishnu. Bringing to mind that form of Sri Hari Vishnu, Lord, may my hands be pure enough to make offerings in the name of the departed. Yeah? So having washed hands, we now sip water 3 times. So remove the mask for a few minutes. For a second, sorry. Om Achyutaya Namaha Keshavaya Namaha Madhavaya Namaha. Bhagavad Puran says that for those of us who can have remembrance of the 3 blessed names of Lord Krishna, namely Achyuta, Keshava, or Madhava, while partaking of water, then we purify ourselves internally. And why would we want to do that? We have done external purifications through the medium of through the medium of bathing and so on. Now we want to purify ourselves internally. How and what is the significance of that? The mind is a very wavering thing. While the ceremony is going on, the mind could waver. You could think of many different things. And so we say, Lord, for this short period of time, Achyuta, Lord Keshava, Lord Madhava, so that my mind will stay focused at what? Antishti Samskara. And so one would not want to offer that Juta hand, so we raise hands again. Om Govindaya Namo Namah Iti Hastan Vishnu Bhagwan Ki Jai. So having washed hands with that supporter 3 times with your hands, we now put the painting or the ring that is made with kush grass on the index finger of your right hand. Om Kuse Brahma Kuse Vishnu Kuse Deva Maheshwaram Angara Agre Kapur Buddhi Syat Smyat Mule Nadharyan. So the painting or the ring is made with kush grass. It is said Kuse Brahma, Kuse Vishnu, Kuse Deva Maheshwaram. Within the kush grass lies the very embodiment of Lord Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, the Holy Trinity. And when we puja, the ring is placed on this finger. When we do Shraddha, it is placed on this finger. Because presiding over every part of the human body, there is a particular Devata or Devi. So the Lord that sits on the index finger of the right hand, Lord Brihaspati, he represents Mukti or liberation. So in Shraddha ceremony, the ring is always placed on the index finger of the right hand. So having placed the ring upon your finger, now you have prepared yourself to do Antishti Sanskar, to begin Antishti Sanskar. Preparation forms a very important part of our lives. Whatever we do, we always prepare for it. If one does not prepare, then we will not have success. Take, for example, the child examination. If preparation is not done before, then chances are the child will fail an exam. So usually, to prepare yourself for something is a very important part of what we do in life, in general. Anteshti and all the different sanskars is no different. So you will have prepared yourself now to begin the ceremony. Now that you have prepped yourselves, we now sprinkle water upon the body. So you hold it in the lota in your hands, you sprinkle water right around, hand it to her, you do the same after. No, stand right here. Go right around. Om Ganga Jalaya Brahmanan Mandalokaya Shisha Darshan Nagapavani Sarva Papatma Sudvi Amrita Shira. Do the same and pass it on to the next person. Sprinkle. Om Ganga Jalaya Brahmanan Mandalokaya Shisha Darshan Nagapavani Sarva Papatma Sudvi Amrita Shira. So the ceremony begins. The first step is when we sprinkle water upon the body. And the mantra is saying, Om Ganga Jalaya Brahmanan Mandalokaya. Lord, this may not be Ganga Jal. And obviously it's tap water. You can very well go to the puja parlor and buy a bottle that is labeled Ganga Jal. But who's to say it's really Ganga Jal? Next thing you know, the full pipe water and put a big sticker on it, right, Ganga Jal, and selling it to you. We don't know. But we say, Lord, by the power of this mantra, may this water assume Ganga-like qualities. So in other words, we begin the ceremony through a purification process by sprinkling water upon the body. We say, may this water attain Ganga-like qualities. Why? Why is Ganga Mata so important? Very often, we go to India, and most of us when we go to India, we all want to touch Ganga, isn't it? We want to have a bath in Ganga. We want to touch Ganga Mata. Why? Why is Ganga Devi so sacred? Why? Because in the beginning of the ceremony, we are chanting this mantra, Ganga Jalaya Brahmanan Mandalokaya, because Ganga Mata emanates from the two names of Bhagavan Vishnu. I'll spend a few moments this morning explaining that. Once Maharaj Bali was conducting a yajna. Bali was a Rakshasa, a demon king. And while Bali was conducting that yajna, he decided to do 100 Ashwamedh yajnas. One Ashwamedh Yagya was so difficult for one king to do, but Bali decided that he was going to do 100. When Bali reached 99 Yagyas, Devraj Indra, king of the heavens, thought that Bali would occupy his position if he completes 100 Yagyas. So he went to Lord Vishnu. Bhagavan Vishnu said, indeed, a demon will not rule over Vaikuntha. So what he did, Bhagavan Vishnu took a form of a little dwarf, took an umbrella and went there. And when he went there, he said, Premchand, I come begging alms. So Bali got up. Sukracharya, his guru, said, no, don't go there. But Bali did not listen. He said, how could I be doing yagya and a Brahmin could come to my yagya and I will not acknowledge him? He went there and he said, Brahman Deva, what can I give you? What can I do for you? And Vaman Bhagavan, in the form of this little dwarf, said, all I need, Bali, is 3 footsteps of land. So that I can construct a Havan Kund to do my Havan. Now, Vaman Bhagavan was a little dwarf and his foot was probably this big. Bali said, well, sure. Vaman Bhagavan said, well, you give me to the usual way, via the means of Sankalp. And Vaman Bhagavan said that. Maharaj Bali said, sure. And he took the kamandal and he started to pour water in his hands. Shukracharya, the guru, so loved his disciple that he took the form of a little bee and he went in there to stop the water from falling. Because he knew, the guru could see that it was Bhagavan Vishnu. Anyway, nonetheless, the water fell upon his hand, the sankalp was given, and Vaman Bhagavan took his first step. He took his huge, massive form as Bhagavan Shri Hari Vishnu. He took his first step, which covered the entire earth. His second step, he covered the heavenly realm. But when the realm was covered and his foot was placed on Brahma's lobe, Lord Brahma washed his feet and placed it in a kamandal. So when Bhaktivinoda did penance to bring Ganga upon this earth, Lord Brahma allowed the water to flow from the kamandal, which touched the jata or the locks of Lord Shiva and flowed upon the earth. So those of us who touch Ganga, we realize that we are actually touching the feet of whom? Bhagavan Vishnu, which transferred to the kamandal of Lord Brahma, which transferred into the jata of Lord Shiva, and then flowed upon this earth. So when we say today, Ganga Jalaya Brahman Mangalokaya, and we sprinkle water, we say through the blessings of Lord Brahma, Bhagavan Shiv Shankar, may this body be purified. And so as we continue along with our ceremony, sacred tulsi leaves, various parts of the body, along with pieces of gold at this point in time. Everybody touch hands. Om Anahino Dhana Vishnu Shankha Chakra Gadadhara Apado Pundarikaksha Preto Gati Samudra Bhava. And so while sacred tulsi leaves are offered upon the body, we say in prayer, He Para Brahma Paramatma. आप आदि और अंत से हीन हैं, हे प्रभु, आप शंख चक्र गदा और पद्म को धारण करने वाले हैं, हे अविनाशी, हे कमल लोचन, आप कृपा करके इस मृतात्मा को मोक्ष दीजिए भगवान. So we say in prayer, Almighty God, you're without beginning, Lord, and you're without end. O eternal one, you are the bearer of the shell with this, the club, the lotus flower. Hey Kamal Nayan, O lotus eyed one, we beg you to grant salvation to the departed soul. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. We all know well in puja, tulsi leaves are offering prasad that we offer to Bhagavan for purification purposes. Of course, with the exception of Bhagavan Ganapati. So the entire process is to purify anybody at this point. Why? Because this body that is made up of 5 elements in a short while will be placed upon the lap of Agni Devata, who is the god of fire. So we purify the body to make it pure enough to sit upon the lap of Agni Devata, who is indeed the god of fire. So having offered tulsi leaves and of course pieces of gold, we now offer ganda. Ganda means fragrance, or as one would say, perfume. And so while we're offering, again, we offer prayer to Bhagavan. Om Hiranyagarbha Purushatya Bhyaktya Swarupini Asya Pretasya Moksharto Sukrito Bhava Sarvada. हे सबके आदि कारण प्रभु, हे साकार और निराकार स्वरूप वाले देव, आप कृपा करके इस मृत आत्मा को मोक्ष दीजिए भगवान. And so we say in prayer, O originator of this universe, Lord, you dwell in both your manifest and unmanifest state, Prabhu. Be gracious and grant salvation to the departed soul. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So having offered gandha or fragrance, we now offer that. Again, using the index finger of the right hand, we offer chandan upon the forehead. Om Govindaya Namo Namah Iti Hastam Prakshalyam Hiranyagarbha Purushabda Bhyaktya Swarupini Asya Pretasya Mokshato Sukrito Bhava Sarvada Govindaya Namo Namah Iti Hastam Prakshalyam. Bolo Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Pindas can best be defined as food for the soul. 6 pindas are offered today in the name of the departed from this point until the point of cremation. So the first pinda will be offered where the body is now residing. Om Adhyam Khagotrasya Piturmukha Dwarkanam Pratham Pindaste Maya Diyate Tavo Shri Haryama Pitra Bhagavani Ki Jai. Adhyam Khagotra Piturmukha Dwarkanam Idam Te Dvitiya Pindaste Maya Diyate Tavo Patishtitam Shri Hari Vishnu Bhagavani Ki Jai. आध्यामुख गोत्र पितुर्मुख द्वारकानां पलांशकामः स्ततिय तृतीय पिंडस्ते मया दीयते तमोपतिष्ठिताम्. आध्यामुख गोत्र पितुर्मुख द्वारकानां काले दिशाचाधीनां एष चतुर्थ पिंडस्ते मया दीयते तमोपतिष्ठिताम्. श्री हरि विष्णु Shri Hari Vishnu Bhagwan ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai. Usually, when we do cremation and so on, we see that people put chanda and flowers, etc. And we sometimes feel that we are doing puja for the body. We have to understand something. Gandha or fragrance is offered simply because when someone dies, the body will now give off a foul stench. And indeed, perfume is sprayed simply to eliminate that. No big religious significance. The chanda is offered as a decorative measure, just like flowers. So, understand something, nobody can worship a corpse. It may sound harsh, but in reality, that is really what it is. He's no longer of this world. The body is made up of 5 elements, is now lying here before us, and the soul is lingering to begin its journey. And so basically that is what it is. No one can really do puja and gain any blessings from that body. And that is something that I try to preach and tell people, while someone is alive, do the arati. Do Papa puja while he alive. Don't wait for Papa to die and to line up to do the puja. There are many people in the world today who don't talk to Mama, don't talk to Papa when we have death. Then everybody wants to come and line up and want to do arati. Until our lady last year, I said, so what if when you put a bow, he raise up his hand and bless you, baby? Stand up there, little rock. The reason why we do arati is for blessings now. To ensure that we get blessings from that person. Today is a day we can't get blessings. Whatever blessings we have to get, we get long before. Where blessings does come with that? You see when they start offering them handfuls of water, to start fasting and making the sacrifice and doing the things that you have to do for your father for 1 year, and Ariama picture viewing that, then they will do so. Blessings to you, son, because great is the son who have the opportunity to do the things that you have to do for his father. When Lord Brahma created the first son, you know, he named him Putra. You know, Putra means, yeah, we just say son, but in Sanskrit, Putra could be divided into 2 parts, Pu and Tran, which means the remover of hell. So the person who carries the ability to lift the father's soul out of hell really is the son. So everybody else here line up, they just join in and trying to help you out here, and trying to be with you and give you support. But really and truly, you are the one. Yeah? So today, having offered the pindas and so on, we now offer malas. And we know well that the mala is broken and placed up around the neck again as a decorative measure. Om Govindaya Namo Namah Iti Hastam Prakshaya Narayanaya Surasreshta Lakshmi Kanta Varprada Anina Tarpani Nata Preta Moksha Pradu Bhava. हे नारायण, आप देवों की देव हो, हे लक्ष्मीपति, आप सब कुछ देने वाले हो, हे प्रभु, इस प्रेत के कल्याण के लिए हम प्रार्थना करते हैं, इसको मुक्ति दीजिए भगवान। नारायण, you are the God of all gods, Lord. You are the consort of Lakshmi Ma. You are the bestower of boons, Lord. May our supplication bring salvation to the departed soul. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bolo Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. So having offered flowers, I said earlier, these are offered as a decorative measure on to the body so that it will look beautiful and so on, giving it a beautiful send-off on this day of Anteshti Sanskar, which marks the beginning, of Anteshti Sanskar. Bolo Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. So at this point, I'd like to call on Uma.
Sitaram, for those who don't know me, I am one of the many nieces of Uncle Dulis. Uncle Dulis was 66 years young. And he was, as many know him, the Ashkeman of Doodnath. But most importantly, Uncle Dulis was a wonderful father, a devoted husband, a loving Aja, and a fun-loving uncle, a supportive brother, a caring brother-in-law, and a great friend to many. For all of us who are fortunate to know Uncle Dulis, we will all have wonderful memories to cherish. Let me tell you, from the time you reach by Uncle Dulis, he always had a big grin on his face, waiting to harass you, poke you, or just tell you some craziness just to make you laugh. Uncle Dulis was a jack of all trades. From the time he knew you had prayers, you got a house, you need anything, he did. Without a doubt, he invited Uncle Dulis to any family gathering, he did. Not only as a guest, he is there in the middle, helping to get anything done. Once Uncle Dulis sharing food, no matter what he shared, you get some of that. Uncle Dulis, man, he was with life at the party. You couldn't win him in a dance off. You take a rest 10 times, and Uncle Dulis ended that dance floor yet. He was an entertainer. He loved having family together. He enjoyed making everyone happy. At any event, he will pass and greet everyone, and assure he leave every person smiling. That was my Uncle Dulis. For every memory that I'll hold close to my heart, I'll always remember him smiling, happy, and knowing that he lived a good life. He accomplished what he needed to. His physical form may have left us, but he will live on in all our hearts. Uncle Dulis, we love you.
Thank you very much, Beth. At this point, we'd like to invite Trevor.
Sitaram. For all those who don't know me, I am Narendra Premchand, Trava, the son of Doodnath Premchand. Many knew him as the Ice Cream Man, Uncle Ice Cream, Goana, Uncle Doodies, just to name a few. I would first like to thank you all for joining us here today, both family and friends alike. You will be proud of the respect you have shown and honored by your presence. I am here today to share some fond memories of my dad. With the month of, with the month of aliases he went by, I'm sure you can guess by now, he was a well-known man. I remember at times when taking drop with him to go on the road, and he would be popping his horn like every 2 seconds. He was swinging it, he would run down passing. Apart from being well-known, he was well-liked. Everyone who knew him or had any interaction with him always said, and still say, that he was a kind soul, warm-hearted, and very hospitable individual. He will give you the shirt off his back if you ask. He was determined. Being the youngest of 8 brothers and 11 oldest to my grandparents, Premchand Ramsram and Polly Premchand, he was always considered one of the babies within his siblings. This was a drag that forced him to give him his passion and determination to prove himself. Speaking of passions, his passion for his culture and dharma was like no other. Waking up early every morning, offering his dharma, being one of the sole instigators of our nightly or monthly satsang, family satsang that is, and being an active member in the Ramila and Chota group in our community. To my dad, family meant everything. Growing up, he always tried to ensure my mom, Trisha, and I were always happy, had everything, and have nothing to worry about. He worked really hard to ensure that there was nothing in this world that we could ask for that he wouldn't get for us. There was never a day that went by that we ever went without or had to sacrifice anything for. That transpired to his grandsons Nathan and Tristan. They shared a special bond and adored him. He considered his son-in-law Arun and daughter-in-law Shri his son and daughter, and always boasted that he gained another son and daughter. Today my father should be celebrated, not mourned, because he brought so many joy and touched so many lives in so many different ways, from the youngest to the oldest. That to share them here with you all today will take a very long time. And although he never really liked to admit it, he's tired. Let him rest. Daddy, thank you.
Bulvendra will be Halilal Nikhi, and at this point we'd like to invite Ambika.
Sit around everybody. I didn't really prepare a speech, but I just had to say something about Doodnath. Doodnath was just 10 years older than me. I am the eldest of the Premchand grandchildren. You might be able to tell because, as you can see, he aged better than his favorite niece, right? He was one of the, he didn't have much schooling, but he was one of the most qualified human beings that I knew. I would say that he had a PhD in humor, a BSc in humility, and he was the master of kindness. I fondly refer to, and I only started doing this recently, in fact, all of my mother's brothers, I refer to them as mom, and my mother's sisters as Marcy. And for me, that is a term of endearment. I know everybody has called everybody uncle and auntie, and that's normal. But for me, Mama was my mother's brother, and Mercy is my mother's sister. And to me, my mother, family was everything, and Duties was one of my favorites. I mean, in this family, I had to have a favorite, but Duties he ticked all the boxes. He was everybody's favorite. He was, honestly, he had a sense of humor, a very, very unique sense of humor. I remember growing up. Now, I grew up not so close to my younger cousins. I grew up with Joy, Baby, and Duties. Because, like I said, he was only 10 years older than me. Joy a couple of years after that, Baby a couple of years after that, and me a couple of years after that. Him, Joy, and Baby was like mommy's children. So I wouldn't say he grew up like a brother because I had a lot more respect for him. I mean, not saying that I don't respect my brother, but he was like a father figure and a brother and everything else in one. And I remember one time, Sunday lunchtime, in a movie time, when we was growing up, me, Toy, Baby, and Duties, he was sitting on the back. We sit down upstairs in the old house and we was watching an Indian movie, Premchand. And anybody who saw that movie knows that that was a very, very, very sad movie. So, me, Doy, and Baby, the movie coming to an end. Me, Doy, and Baby gazing up to give a good cry, right? You know? The movie coming to a climax and everybody waiting just for that moment for the tears to start to flow. All of a sudden, Dewey started to scream loud, loud, loud on his side. Now, you know when somebody interrupts a good cry, or it's that frustration. You don't have to laugh, you don't have to cry, you don't have to pet them down with something. You know, but he was that kind of person. In any situation, he couldn't see somebody cry. He had to make them laugh no matter what. He was so kind. He could let a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old mama guy him to make snow cone for my mom Bandara. And he made snow cone for everybody. And the reason why I'm pointing out these things is because that tells you the type of person that he was. He wasn't just, he was a pillar in the community, he was an upstanding person, but he was also a really, really kind, loving, caring human being. But Duty's family was second to none. Indra, Trisha, Trevor, growing up, they were his world, his sisters, his brothers, they were everything to him. Nothing else mattered to him except his family. So I just want to say, Duties, you were an inspiration. You are well loved, and you will be terribly missed. Sitaram.
Well, brother, in Halival, you see we have in presence as well, Councillor Meru. Councillors are very busy man, and he has taken the time off to be here with the family this morning, and we asked him to come and give his words to the family, a few words to the family. Indeed, one of the hard-working members of our community.
Thank you very much, Pandiji, Sitaram, members of the family, friends gathered here today. I see my immediate Jonathan here with us. I came here this morning sad and angry too, but I will deal with the latter part last. I am really saddened when I got the news of one trust fire here. When I came here at the wake on Monday night, and I saw that temple there, and I spoke to the sister, and knowing him, inclined he was involved in everything in the community. Why did this happen? How did this happen? Me getting angry is because of some of the things I've been hearing outside of here after this happened on Sunday. And everybody seems to have their own reason why this happened. had to pull up on a few people's socks and tell them, if they don't know, shut up. Because we believe we know everything. My good friend here, he carries the same name like me. I am Doodnath and he's Doodnath Premchand. They also call me Doodies in St. John Trace. He and himself alone know what he was going through. And like all of us, there are times we keep things to ourselves and we do not mention it even to our closest friend, family, wife, son, or daughter. And I am sure that there were times when he faced these challenges by himself because he was in fear to let his family know. We all have our challenges. We all face circumstances. Sometimes we may talk it out, or we may keep it to ourselves, and we will try to deal with it. In this case, my good friend, my brother, he dealt with it the way he felt was the best way, which was really not right for the family, for the children, for the grandchildren. Today, I agree with you. If you have any problem, I don't think anybody in this world have more problems than me and the MP. Not that we have personal problems, but we were elected to deal with everybody else's problems. Yesterday, I will tell you how a politician life is. Yesterday, to 12 o'clock, I had to deal with 96 phone calls from 8 to 12. So I say again, if you have any challenges, whatever, find your pundit, find your priest, find your imam, find your MP, find your counselor, talk. We will be able to do something to help. This is a really a sad situation for this family who I have known all my life. I got 2 calls from Canada when this happened on Sunday. 2 friends called me on Monday to find out if this did indeed happen. And we started to talk and reflect back to his father and his mother. And he did everything of his father because his father was the same kind of person, same community person. Every wedding in St. John Trace, when we call him Uncle Prim, was in good health. He could protein every single wedding in St. John Trace. He is the perfect example of his father. I know how difficult it is for this family to wake up Sunday morning. Everything is good, nobody is ill, without any expectation of a tragedy to hit this family. And out of the blues, in less than 2 minutes, your whole world is shattered. How do you deal with that? This family alone knows what they are going through at this point in time and will go through knowing the circumstances surrounding the death of my brother. It is hard, it is difficult. And I'm pleading with the persons out there who are rumor mongering and giving all the reasons why this happened. If you don't know, stay out of it. Don't go slandering people name and is this one caused that and that one caused that. No, nobody, not even the wife or the children, can explain why this happened. It's really a sad day for this community. As Denise said, he was in Iran, in the temple. Everything he could think about community-wise, Denise was part of. When I outside one morning, I hear that phone going from up the road and we snoop on an ice cream coming on the road. Well, I know much snoop on an ice cream, but next to my mom, my nephews, my nieces, and my neighbor over the road, she was an avid customer of Doodnath. So I know that this has hit this family like a rock, Vish. It is hard, it's a difficult time, but I am sure that God will grant you all the peace and the understanding to accept what happened. Thank you very much.
Bolobindravan, Alaki, Jay. So at this point, I'd like to invite Minister Dave Kanku to the
Sit down, everybody. Sit down, everybody. This is not how I wanted to be here today. This is not the event I wanted to be here present today for. This is not something you actually ever prepare yourselves for. And like Coach mentioned, I have been in funerals almost every day for the last year and a half that I have been a member of Parliament. Funerals are a normal thing. So you get a bit immune when you stand to speak. And it took a while for me to get to where I am today, because when my father died, I remember not being able to speak at any funeral afterwards. Because your grief is your own grief. Only you know how you feel. So it's easy for someone to go today and give advice and so, and I want to come to the counselor for the words of advice, and family club, who I worked in and heard the conversations and the reminiscing and so on. I have some very fond memories of Doody and of this family. Very, very fond memories. He was somebody for me who will always say things to make you laugh. He was always, it's the antics. But that is true for most of the members of this family, which is why I think I consider them so highly. What I want to say though has nothing to do with the love that I have with them. It has to do with what happens afterwards. Depression is a real thing. And I think too many times in our families, and people outside looking and say, this thing is violent and misbehaving, they're just not taking things serious. But depression is a medical, scientific fact. It happens. And you never can tell. You would see Doody selling ice cream. You would see him outside, and you would never know the pains and problems that he had himself. The family would have known some, but most of the time, as the council said, you keep these things to yourself. Because you too may have been stigmatized into thinking that something wrong with you, something mentally wrong, and you're afraid to talk to people. Doody was suffering from a medical issue. Depression is a medical issue. And I'm sure that there are others amongst us here today who are also suffering, but may not know that they are suffering from depression. It happens. And the worst part of all that is that we take it for granted. This family here today is suffering from depression. Everybody here who would have known the would be suffering from depression. Everybody here then needs to seek not necessarily medical advice, but you need to check yourselves. And more importantly than checking yourselves, you need to check each other. So that is the message I want to leave here today. The message I want to leave here today is no man or woman is an island. Nobody can live by yourself. You're real strong and you'll be strong for everybody else. And that's true, you'll be strong for everybody else. But if you think that you're holding up the sky and something happened to you and you have to let go, what? Everything will collapse. Everything will fall. Reach out to somebody, reach out to each other. The message that I have today, quite frankly, is you don't know really what will happen tomorrow. Nobody can tell. As Council again, I refer back to Council with an exceptionally good presentation. As Council said earlier, 2 minutes is all it takes for your whole life to change. So today, look around, cherish your family, cherish them. We went through COVID, people forgot. We went through COVID, reach out. People you haven't spoken to for a long time, reach out and touch bases with them. You do not know. Don't put that for tomorrow. You do not know if you will be able to see them tomorrow in a happy situation. You don't know if you'll be able to go and have ice cream with them, if you'll see them tomorrow, if you'll be able to carry tea for them tomorrow, if you'll bake cake and bake macaroni pie. You don't know. So today, this is what you have. Today, rather than wait until tomorrow, hold on. Nobody is guaranteed for tomorrow. Today we're here to mourn, not to mourn, sorry, that's a mistake. Today we are here to celebrate the life of this gentleman. Because everybody here, I think, knows the family. Everybody. Everybody knows the challenges. And this was not a family that born rich. There's not many people like that. There are families that are born into wealth. This is a family that worked to get what they want. Worked hard to get what they have. This wasn't always so. This wasn't always so. But the one that we had, and that's the one thing that I'm repeating today that we need to cherish, is the family was like this. The family was always together. Do you remember the Ramayan sister had here? The family was always together. And the village was always supportive of the family. I am hoping that after today is finished, that continues. Because this family and villagers continue to need each other. You know, we just nitpick and say, you know what, that 2-inch of land that I put down the post on. I custom hear those kind of complaints. We fight about all kinds of things. They never put on the volume, they never brush. I have a classic. They never put on the brush, cut in the grass, 7 o'clock in the morning, and we vex with the neighbor. But when push comes to shove, who the heck? Is the neighbor? So let me put aside all them things now. Let us not get to the stage where we are here today to remember all the good things that we have, all the good people in our lives, and let us reach out to them today because we really don't know what tomorrow will have. I maintain that depression is a real medical issue. Real medical issue. But we need each other. And I think if we all continue to support each other and to support this family, we have far to go. St. John Tracy was an exemplar to the rest of the country about a united group. We've divided a little bit now, but it was an exemplar to the rest of the country about how families and communities used to live. Let us go back to that. Let us reach out. Let us use today as an example. Let us use a lesson that we would have taught us now. And then be smiling and be happy. Reach out and share happiness with other people. Share sadness with other people too, because a sorrow divided is a sorrow shared. The other way around, sorrow shared is a sorrow divided. Sharing happiness. I have nothing else I want to say before I get too emotional as well, but to remind you to please continue to reach out and to support this family. They will need you all more than ever after today is finished. Thank you.
We started off our ceremony explaining the significance of this particular sanskar. I mean, we're at the end of sanskars. We'll begin our journey to the creek in a very short while. Pray that, particularly you, that you understand the things that we have spoken of, and the things that you must do to ensure that the soul itself will have a smooth transition from this realm to the realm hereafter. What is done already. What is important and what matters is the task at hand, which is an Nishti Sanskar, the things that you must do to ensure that your father will now have a comfortable journey to the hereafter. Of course, I will not be long, but I must say a few words, and everyone would have spoken to the crowd here, but I would like to say a few things to you. Firstly, there's some very beautiful lines that says, Shraddha rakho jagat ke logo apne dinanath mein. Shraddha means faith. Shraddha rakho jagat ke logo. Oh, people of this world, have faith. Have faith in whom? Have faith in God. Because what you are about to do here, beginning from this day until 1 year from today, it all depends on God. So Shraddha rakho jagat ke logo apne dinanath mein labh hani jivan aur mrityu. Labh hani, I think, profit and loss, life and death. Sabke, all lies in the hand of God. मारने वाला है भगवान, बचाने वाला है भगवान. We die when God wants us to die. whatever the outcome may be, whether it's kidney, diabetes, stroke, whatever the reason may be, that is the cause for it. Yes. But it's the time that we must live. That's just the way that we have to live. So today, Duri is no longer with us. Physically, we want to fight it and say no how much you want. But the fact remains that he is no longer with us. The soul, he may continue to be around in spirit, but physically that body that is lying there is made up of 5 elements and nothing more. In a short while, the body will be consigned to fire, where the elements will merge into their original state. And I am sure that people will have seen ceremonies conducted in many different ways. They make 5 stops and they light camphor and do arti and bus pitna and pelt in 4 direction and bus all kind of kalsa. It's so simple my ceremony is. 5 stops, the fire, hawan, etc. And we make our offerings. Why? People say Baba Narayan is do halfway thing. They want to say the correct thing, but Baba Narayan is do the correct thing. Ask anybody why you do 5 stops. The human body is made up of 5 elements. And each stop you make, you just put your hands together here, Varunde. I return my father to his original state. Second stop. Here, Nidilta, Inheritima, etc. The elements. And then you place consign the body to fire. So basically, when the body is now consigned to fire with that, everything you do from tomorrow is now for the soul, which lingers around until the day of Bandara. And basically, that's what this ceremony is all about today. So, coming to the end of our ceremony, I'd like to ask family members, loved ones, all who would want to come up and offer a flower in your own mindset to say goodbye, or whatever you would want to say or do, we urge you to do so now. I'd like to invite Shiv Shakti-san. I know that the Chaudhal group is here. Duri is a member of that group as well. And I am sure that I'd like to ask them to come nearer. If you want to see from there, wherever, doesn't matter. I think they'll be doing some Chal Ramayana for us. Or Chauta or whatever, I'm not sure. Yeah. So, again, we'd like to invite family members, loved ones, all those who want to come offer flower, garland, feel free to do so now while we have singing.
Swami Jesus.
So we now hand over to the leader of the church, of course, the president of St. John's Trace Roundabout.
Sit down, everybody. On behalf of the St. John's Trace Roundabout Committee and the Chief Shakti Son Chopal Group, I would just like to say, Mr. Doodnath Premchand, may your soul rest in peace. For from both group, we will miss you a lot because you was one of the foundation members of this group. Again, may your soul rest in peace. Thank you.
Jai Sri Ram, Bole Siyavara Ramachandra Bhagavan Ki Jai. So we have come to the end of our Antishti Sanskar, this part of our ceremony. So let's all stand as we put our hands together. Put our eyes as we join together in prayer. We ask of Bhagavan and our own words to show us choices and most divine blessings upon the departed soul. Om Dayanidhi Chaturkhani Cha Punyah Silochaya Kurukshetre Cha Ganga Cha Yamuna Cha Sarakarna Pavashakim Chandra Bhagyam Cha Sarva Papa Pranashini Bhadravakasham Sur Hikim Tamasadatha Vaishnavam Cha Varaham Cha Tirtham Pindarakam Tatha Prithivayami Tirthani Chaturah Sadharakam Sataha Om Shanti 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 Bodhindran Bihari Radhi. So you can all take your seats. Those of us who did not have an opportunity to be involved, if you want to do so, please do so now. We'll be leaving in 5 minutes for the creek. Jai Sri Ram.
सूरत कहूँ या गंगा तो कहूँ राधारा मेरा नाम मेरा आंगन जग मेरा सुना सूरत कहूँ